Hi guys, I'm Vyomesh Singh. Welcome to Civil Education. And today we have Tanishka Gupta, who is pursuing her BTech from Tier 3 college, and she got internship in Goldman Sachs. So that's a really big achievement. And in this podcast, she is going to share her experience, interview experience, preparation strategy, as well as how she gets shortlisted in the company like Goldman Sachs, because uh, it needs so much courage for a tier 3 student to apply the company like Goldman Sachs. So that's a big achievement for her. So first of all, welcome Tanishka, welcome to Saral Education.
Thank you, Ramesh.
So could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Tanishka Gupta. I'm currently in my third year and I'm pursuing computer science from Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, which is in Pune. So I have been freelancing as a web developer ever since my first year. And like I'm into web development and deep learning. And I'm one of the leads at Women Who Code Pune Network, which is a global non-profit organization, uh, which is for women. Like we promote and inspire women in technical fields, and I'm also leading Google's developer student clubs. And I have conducted and trained many students, like around 300 plus students in various technical stacks like Python, C++, web development, machine learning, etc. And this year, I have also received two off-campus offers from Credit Suisse and Goldman Sachs.
So guys, if you want to learn C++, C, Python, or you have any query, you are facing any difficulty, you can directly ping her on the LinkedIn. It's really hard for a student to get shortlisted in a company, to get a call, right? And you are shortlisted in two fintech company, two even Goldman Sachs is one of the biggest fintech company, and you are shortlisted there. So what are the reasons that you are shortlisted? What do you think? What are the reasons?
So, one good thing about Goldman Sachs is that it gives a fair chance to everyone, irrespective of your branch and your college. So, definitely the competition increases at this point. So, to stand out from the crowd, I had to be very very careful and selective in my preparation because I wasn't expecting myself to clear even their aptitude, which is very lengthy and difficult. But eventually I did. And also in the further processes where your resume comes into the picture, where your resume speaks for your profile, so, which is during your team allocation and interviewer allocation. So at that point I think that in my first year I had received an internship at India's one of the top 21 startups, and I was the only one from my college among my colleagues and my seniors to bag this position. And I also had a chance to work on project internships at Global Optimum Data Analytics. And I was also a part of Collaborative Research and Development Forum, where I had to work on a business prototype for a budding product based startup. So I believe these prior internship experiences of mine and my projects and my leadership and my trainer profile, they had a direct impact on my communication and my presentation skills during my interview, and this also added weightage to my profile. So this is what I've realized from my interview, because both my interviewers had mentioned that they were very impressed with my profile, that too other than my technical skills. And I remember one of them mentioning in the end that she really liked the fact that I was very calm and confident throughout the interview.
So, guys, if you want to crack a product-based company or fintech company or any big company, your resume must be very good, very impressive. Then only you will get the call. Then only you will get the shortlisted. You must prepare your resume or you must build your profile in such a way that there are some milestones in your profile, like she has participated in the internship even from the first year. Most of us don't do that courage, fine. And she also participated in Women Who Code, and so you can also participate in something like that, like you can participate in open source projects, and you can participate in internship. Means try to get some opportunities before applying for a big company, right? So let's talk about Goldman Sachs itself. So what was the selection process of Goldman Sachs?
So it was an off-campus internship drive, which is known as the Engineering Campus Hiring Program. And there was no specific eligibility criteria as far as I remember. It was just that if you are applying for the summer analyst profile or for summer 2021, then you should be a 2022 grad, which was in my case. So I don't clearly remember any other criteria, that because you just have to apply, and if you clear the basic eligibility criteria, you get a link to the first round, and the first round consists of pure aptitude based MCQs, and if you clear that, then you are called for the second online technical assessment round, which consists of 5 sections, which also includes your coding round. And there are, apart from that, I had 2 technical interview rounds.
So guys, we will now dig deep in every single round one by one. So Tanishka, how was your technical aptitude test? Because technical aptitude or finance based company is little bit harder. Even sometimes we can match it with the CAT exam or little bit higher than CAT. So how was your experience there?
So there were some 66 MCQs, and you have 90 minutes to attempt. There is negative marking also for every question, which is +5 -2. And they didn't mention any cutoff as such, but I had solved around 30 to 35 questions, which I was very, very sure of because of negative marking. I didn't want to take any risk. And the sections involved were numerical computations, numerical reasoning, abstract reasoning. We have diagrammatic reasoning, comprehension passages, and puzzles. So in the February hiring, around 17 to 1800 students had cleared this aptitude round, as far as I remember.
And for in the case of the Goldman Sachs, it was not the only written test. After the aptitude test, there is the main written test, which is known as the technical assessment. So, which you already mentioned, there were the 5 sections. So, tell us about it. How was your experience with the technical assessment?
So as mentioned, there was one online technical round after your aptitude one, which consisted of 5 sections, which also included your coding round. So we had around 10 days to prepare for this round. Like from the date I received my mail stating that I've cleared my aptitude round till the date of my technical round was scheduled. So now coming to the assessment, total length of the technical round was 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it was very exhausting because each of the sections had very lengthy questions, and every section is individually timed. Like you cannot access a particular section after the time is over for that particular section. So the first section was online coding round, second was mathematical based MCQs, third one was technical computer fundamentals based MCQ, and the fourth one was again a competitive coding, but it was it was quite harder as compared to the previous ones. And the last section was your subjective answers, where you are expected to write essay type answers to managerial or behavioral questions.
It seems like marathon test, right? Because 2 hour, 15-minute test, and there are so many sections itself, and each has the individual cutoff. So it's like a marathon test, right? So let's talk about each section one by one. So first we talk about the online coding round, because online coding round is very scary for tier 3 students. So how was your experience with the online coding round, means first section itself?
So there are 2 questions which are based on data structures and algorithms, and we are expected to solve them in 30 minutes. So in this round, the complete round was held on HackerRank platform, and the first question for me was a LeetCode medium. It was based on strings and hash map. Second question was very lengthy. It was based on trees, and you were given a string of integers, and you had to build a tree out of those integers from scratch, and then you had to perform some recursive calls on the tree for some sort of operation. It was LeetCode medium again, but it was very lengthy, so I personally was able to solve only the first one. I knew the entire approach to the second question, but I didn't have enough time to code the same, so I did code as much as possible in the remaining time.
So, in the hacker ranks, that means there will be cases they are checking at that time only. There are some test cases and there are some hidden cases as well. So, did you able to solve any, or did you pass any test in the first, second questions?
No, I couldn't complete my algorithm itself. The time was too less.
Okay, okay. After the coding round, there was four remaining section which was in continuous. How was your experience in the math test and technical aptitude? I assume technical aptitude was easy for you, but math is like very difficult for everyone because we are not familiar with the math at in the third year and final year of our BTech. So please tell us about your experience.
Yeah, so the time limitation for the math section was 20 minutes, and it was again MCQ based, and I had negative marking +5 -2. There were 8 questions, like 8 MCQs in the math section. So it was mostly based on probability. Now, probability, Goldman Sachs is very serious about probability. So the probability questions are literally cat level, and other topics were logical analysis, algebra, geometry, logarithms, etc. These are up the regular JE level. So you actually need to get back to your JE days, and you have to practice and revise the concept in that manner, because the questions are very lengthy. You have to take your pen and paper and you have to solve them properly till the end to arrive up at a proper answer. So out of these 8 questions, I could answer only 6. I had to leave 2 questions. Then we had the technical aptitude MCQ section, which was 25 minutes. And there were 7 MCQs, which were based on object-oriented programming, operating systems, and they were output-based. And they also had data structures and algorithm-based questions. And here I could solve 5 out of 7. So the questions are doable. They are not very difficult, but they are very conceptual and lengthy again. Like I remember one question from operating system. It was based on page replacement algorithms. Like the number of frames, columns, and the reference string was given, and we had to tell whether the hits for a certain substring of the reference for the last and first out algorithm was equal to or more than or less than the same substring if we consider it for the least recently used algorithm. And even after that, we had to select the total number of hits and falls so far. So it was something like this. And you have to sit and build the entire schedule for both of them in order to compare. So the MCQs for operating systems were in the same manner. They were based on standard algorithms. Like the other question was based on process scheduling algorithms. And even we also had complexity based questions. And we had output based question, which was asked on standard object oriented programming principles.
Guys, you might be thinking that written test is quite long, but it's not over yet. There was two more sections. One is advanced competitive programming or advanced problem solving round. Another is subjective test. So how was your experience there, and how the advanced problem solving is different than the online coding round?
So the time limit to this advanced problem solving question is 45 minutes. Even they understand it is very hard. So it was a lead code hard problem, and it was more of a competitive coding question, not a simple data structures and algorithm question. And it was based on graphs. And like the question had many sub questions involved. I had to pre-process the graph, then I had to apply some sort of algorithm, then I had to push it to some other data structure, and finally arrive at an answer. So, but after a lot of trial and error, I could finally solve this problem completely. Like I think I still remember 5 seconds were left, and miraculously all my test cases had passed. So I could solve this one completely.
Okay, and how was your subjective test?
So subjective is something we had 15 minutes and we had to answer 2 questions in the 15 minutes only. And I think for me, it's easier to come up with an answer and, talk about it in 15 minutes than typing it out, because you have to think, you have to structure it, and then you have to type it. So I had to be very, very honest in this section, because I don't think I had time to, cook up a story or so. So I was worried about whether I could get time to, go through my answers before submitting them or not, because I was blindly typing whatever experience I could recall. And in order to answer those questions, I was very worried about any typing errors or grammatical errors while typing in haste. And I was just recalling my experiences and trying to type it out in a very logical and a presentable manner. But thankfully, I could complete both of them on time. And one of the two questions which I remember is it was about if you're working on a very important project and one of your teammates back out due to some genuine reason, then how do you plan to tackle that situation? So it was something similar to this one.
So guys, normally company test behavior-based question in the last round of the interview, but it's a fintech company, biggest fintech company, Goldman Sachs. So it testing even on the technical assessment or first round of the written test. Not even she has not experienced the first interview yet, and she has to face the behavior question. So that's the standard of the Goldman Sachs. So let's talk about your interview now. So how was your first technical round of interview? Because you have cleared the Credit Suisse earlier, so you had some experience. So was it easy for you, or it was like intriguing for you, or it was like scary for you because it is the Goldman Sachs?
It was a bit scary because again, I was not expecting I'll come so far that too for a company like Goldman Sachs. But again, because I'd already cleared Credit Suisse, I was a bit more comfortable and confident with my interviewers. So for this interview round, I had 4 days to prepare for the interviews. Like from the date I received the mail that I've qualified my technical assessment till the date of my interview. So for my first interview, the interviewer was a vice president for some team. And in this round, I was given 2 coding questions. And this lasted hardly 20 minutes. And there were these questions were data structure and algorithm based questions. So the first question was based on number theory. It was a easy medium question. Like we were discussing all the mathematical algorithms for the same. And then the second question was dynamic programming based. It was a medium hard, but again, it was doable question. Like the interviewer was very friendly. So whichever doubt I had, he patiently addressed them. And like the main focus I think in this interview was only coding based questions because no such math or probability questions were asked.
But did they ask you to write the code, or they just wanted to know the approach?
It was both. Like first they wanted to confirm the approach of the question, and once they felt that okay, the approach is good, then they quickly asked you to write down the code for the same.
So you wrote the code on some Google Doc or some document, or on some compiler itself?
That was a screen sharing editor by HackerRank itself. So they had shared it with us. It was almost like Google Docs only.
Okay, that means they didn't compile and run the code, but they just dry run it. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So now it was your first technical interview, and it was totally based on your competitive programming, data structure kind of questions. Fine. So how was your second round of interview, and how it is different from the first one?
So this time the interviewer was again a vice president, but she was from a different team, and she had around 13 years of experience at Goldman Sachs. Like she was very kind and motivating, but at the same time she was very strict again. So the interview went around 45 to 50 minutes this time. And in this round, she focused on almost all technical subjects and development skills. So I was asked around 6 to 7 questions from different domains. And like initially I was asked to introduce myself, and after that she gave me a coding question which was of medium level, like it was based on string manipulation. So I was asked to write the entire code in my preferred language. Of course, after I gave her a right approach, she asked me to code it down. And like once I completed with the code, she said that she's okay with it, she does not have any other follow-up questions. So we moved ahead, and then she asked me a puzzle question which was faintly based on probability. Like Goldman Sachs is known for asking puzzles very rigorously, so I had to prepare that as well. So luckily I was only asked one puzzle, and after this puzzle she asked me follow-up questions in the form of probability, like all the concepts like the order finding a particular event, etc. That way. So for this thing, I think I had to be very conceptually good with probability rather than the formulas only. So after this one, based on my resume, I was asked to explain one of my projects, and then she threw many follow-up questions like how did you implement this particular feature, and why did you choose this particular tech stack, because there are better ones available. So I had to mention the drawbacks of the other ones and why I had to choose this particular tech stack. Then she gave me a scenario, like suppose you wish to add some XYZ feature to your project, then what will your approach be using the same tech stack? And on answering that, she also asked me if I have to pitch this project in front of an industry person as an industry product, then what factors I would be considering for the same, my revenue model, my business model, and everything. But it was all project specific, because while pitching my project, I mentioned few terms of business models and all. So that is why she took more interest in those. If you're mentioning business model, then how are you actually going to create one for the same? So it was that way. But later on, to my fear, when I checked her LinkedIn after the interview, I realized she had been working on the same tech stack or as of my project that we had discussed. And that too, she had some 7 to 8 years of experience in it. So I was really shocked, but at the same time, I was hoping for the best. Then we moved on to database designing. She gave me a simple scenario of college departments and students. So I was asked to design a database. I had to tell her the complete process, that how many entities, how many tables, what are the keys and all. And then I had to, like, she asked me certain queries, like how will you process this query and that query. So it was good. She was satisfied with my answers. And in the end, she asked me a few questions. They were conceptual questions based on C++ OOP specific, like what is inheritance, what is polymorphism, and more of what is static binding and dynamic binding. Why do we call it so, that way? So we also discussed real life use cases that we can, incorporate using object oriented principles. And this was the last question. After that, she just asked me if I had any questions for her. And I asked her for my feedback. And she was kind enough to give me a brief positive feedback. And she wished me luck. And then the interview was finally done. So I wasn't asked any behavioral questions as such.
So I want to ask, apart from the Goldman Sachs, you got internship in your very first year of your college. So how you get those internships? Because in the first year, people don't know what they are doing in a college. They are just roaming around and thinking about what I am doing and why am I studying math, physics, chemistry again. So that's
Right.
happened. So what was your approach to get internship, and what was your uh, tech stack, or what was your technical skills that time? So you got the internship that time.
Yeah, so I was very fond of web development ever since my school days. Like, we used to have computer science subject as a weekly subject in my school. So after 12th standard, when we were all done with our competitive exams like JEE, everything, I had a 2 months gap before joining my college. So I picked up web development again, and I also started with C, C++, basic ones from W3 schools and some other website. I don't seem to remember now. So I practiced that. I used to make short projects. And so after entering college, somehow I got to explore the freelancing world. So I started with some easy landing pages. And I was lucky enough to get into Google's developer student clubs as a web developer. So it was the first time that we had this club in our campus. And that really helped me boost my skills in web development domain. So somewhere after getting into the club, our college had organized an internship fair. So many startups had set up their stalls, and we had to go and listen to what they have to pitch in for their company. And we had to submit our resumes. Now, since I was in first year, nobody was ready to give me a chance to interview for a technical position like web development intern. So they were insisting me to take up sales and marketing intern position, but I was very adamant. And there was this one startup which I mentioned, that is Extra Edge Technology Solutions. They took my resume, they allowed me to sit for their aptitude round, and I could clear their aptitude test. Then I was called for interview. We had another technical assessment followed by a group discussion. So in that group discussion, I also had seniors from my college from second and third year when I was in first year. So luckily, I was the only one to get selected for web development intern position among my colleagues and all my seniors. So, and this was a very well paid internship, and I got to learn a lot from my internship. And after this internship is what I got further project based internships in my second year and so on. So like, what I would like to suggest is that if you wish to get internships in your early college years, So from my experience, all I can suggest you is to know what exactly you want. Like it's not mandatory to have internships in your first and second years. You may as well spend your time, growing your skills or working on personal projects. But if you think you really want when you have that skills, then there are many platforms like Internshala and others. So keep hitting the opportunities which you think are right for you. And if you think you really want some industry experience right in your first and second years, then and you don't get to work for organizations where you are applying or you have tried, then try networking with right people. You may request them to introduce you to such startups or organizations who are also looking for such eager and determined candidates.
So we are here talking about your success, fine. But there was time when you were not successful. There was the time when you were not getting shortlisted. So first of all, how many companies have you applied in off campus from LinkedIn or from anywhere?
So I have applied in at least in my third year. I have applied for some 5 to 6 companies, and like off campus, good companies, 5 to 6 good companies. For few of them, I even cleared their coding rounds, but I couldn't. Like I went up to their final interview rounds also, but I didn't. Like they didn't shortlist me after interviews. For a few companies, I could not clear the coding round itself. And even in fact, talking in terms of Goldman, Goldman had its first internship drive in the month of August 2020. So I had applied for Goldman even then, but I couldn't even clear its first aptitude round. So, but eventually I realized my mistakes after all this hits and trials. And eventually, when Goldman came again after 6 months, I hit the right opportunity.
Guys, failure is an opportunity to learn. So you don't, so you should not be demotivated, and because it is the opportunity to learn, you are learning and growing. So after certain unsuccess experience, you will surely be get successful because your chances are increasing. You know your mistakes, you have analyzed them, and you have worked on them. Like Kanishka has worked on her aptitude test because she was not successful in the aptitude in Goldman Sachs earlier. She has worked on her coding skills because she was not able to crack some coding round in some company. So she was very well prepared. So Tanishka, did you also prepare for interview round? Like how should tell about myself, how should introduce myself, or behavior question or any kind of stuff?
So what I heard was, if I talk about Goldman, so Goldman is very, very specific about the principles they are looking for while hiring students. So I had to go through the complete company website. I had to read a lot about the division they are hiring for, and I had to read about the previous experiences about other candidates, so that I should like. I've also heard that Goldman even asks what is the recent, economic or social news about Goldman Sachs. So I had to be very well prepared with everything. So I went through its website. I had to understand how the company works, so as to while answering behavioral questions, I could easily relate myself with the company. So this is how I prepared. But like to my surprise, no behavioral questions were asked to me in my interviews.
So guys, this kind of preparation required to crack fintech company from a tier three college student. No stone should be unturned. Fine. And at last, I want to ask, what tips you want to give young candidates of tier three, tier four colleges? How should they prepare for product-based company, finance tech-based company, any company which provide more than 6-7 lakh package?
So I think in today's state, the internet is full of free and quality resources. Like there are many examples of students who have been breaking their college records and their 3 tier tag by simply aiming for the right things, that too at the right time. So even if you are from a 3 tier college, you can network with many students and professionals on LinkedIn. It's a very, very great platform. You get to learn by people's journey. Like you can refer to such YouTube channels like this one of Yomesh. He has an excellent playlist of all the on and off campus opportunities, how students have cracked it. So try to take advantage of such resources and keep trying. Like try to connect with your college seniors seniors who have been placed at big companies, like even if not your college seniors, some other seniors. Like I was very lucky enough to be mentored by two such seniors from my college, and they didn't have any mentors for themselves, but they helped me throughout just on the basis of their experiences, their failures, and their achievements. So don't underestimate the importance of joining or even leading college clubs and activities where you get to network with your seniors. And because this overall instills a different sense of confidence in you, which I had during my interviews. So keep trying. Even I failed in the first attempt for Goldman Sachs, but I nailed it when it came again after 6 months. So that's what, like, keep trying for different opportunities. You'll definitely hit the right one someday.
So guys, if you have any query, if you need any help from our side in your preparation, then you can directly message us on our LinkedIn profile. Our LinkedIn link in the description of this video, both Tanishka and mine. So you can directly message us there. And that's all for today. Thank you, Tanishka, for all your insight. I hope it will helpful for many students.
Yeah, I really wish the same.
So thank you, Tanishka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yogesh.
Guys, please do not forget to like our video, share with your friends, and please do not forget to subscribe. So you can get more videos like this. Thank you, Tanishka. Thank you very much.